Start. Hey, welcome in, everybody. We are here with NiSi, and today at NiSi, we are going to talk about some really cool cinematic filters that are going to make your videos really pop. Stuff like the variable ND filter, the black mist filter, as well as the entire Swift system. And to help me talk about the Swift system today, we're bringing in Mitchell Kucher. I am Aaron King with Photog Adventures, working for NiSi today, and I will be helping you in a live stream events for the next few months and for the hopefully foreseeable future as we're hanging out live together. We're over here on YouTube and on the Facebook page if it has even connected. I believe that we have a Facebook connection that has changed where the live stream is. So if you're on the NiSi Facebook page looking for this event, it's probably disconnected from the event page and gone over to another live stream. So we'll keep an eye on the NiSi Facebook page to see if this is going out there. But on YouTube, welcome in, everybody. Let's get going. Let me know if you are seeing this live and letting me know where you're coming from. I want to hear some people where you're currently watching right now. And if you are watching on a plane, just pick the destination you're heading. That'd be awesome. If you have Wi-Fi on a plane and you're actually watching with us right now, then let me know through that. But let's go ahead and just double check that the Facebook page over here at NiSi is showing up. And so I am going to do some changes in the background for a moment. But welcome in, and I'm excited to talk about the Swift system. I've seen the video that Mitchell put together, and it is pretty fantastic. And the thoughts about everything I've done on my YouTube channel and filming with just, this little iPhone, I'm starting to feel like I got to make a change. I got to make a change and film some serious video with my 5D Mark IV or get another Sony system that I've been looking at to get some, night sky photography going and filming. So I've got some little ideas now of getting the right lens to fit this Swift system, because that Swift system looks pretty amazing. So let's go into NiSi's page. My Facebook is hidden behind my mic. Let me just pull that up right now. I'm over at the NiSi Facebook page. If you're a YouTuber watching right now and you're looking for it over on Facebook, you can watch the live. I believe it has gone live. Yep, there it is, but it's on a different link. It's on a different link than the pre-created event. So as long as you go over to the event page or the Facebook page, you will see us right there live with 6 of you watching. Hey, welcome in. Let me know where you're from. I'm going to bring up the comments on this live right now so that I can keep track of it. Oh, I don't want to hear it. I just want to watch the comments. So now here I go. I've got Facebook on one side, and hit me up with a comment, everybody. We're about to go live with Mitchell Kucher, and I'm going to want to have your feedback as well as questions coming in through us. So let me know right now, hey, I'm ready. I'm excited to get this comment out, and tell me where you're from. I'm currently in Provo, Utah, so I'm going to write that. NiSi, Aaron King, Provo, Utah. Awesome. I'm right there. Looks like the chat's working solid there. Let me check over on YouTube. I have YouTube going, and evening in Australia from 34 Media. Welcome in. Hey. So we're looking at the streams are working on both sides, just in the wrong place over on the Facebook page, but that's easily fixed. That's not insurmountable. Let's get rolling with our guest host today, Mitchell Kucher. Hey, welcome in, Mitch.
Hi, how's it going?
Not bad. I mean, we got a little bit of a tech over at Facebook trying to fight us a little bit, but other than that, we're going really well. So where are you coming to us from?
I'm coming to you from Kelowna, British Columbia in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So so I'm a Canadian boy, and here with NiSi reaches out and kind of asked me to come and do this, so I'm more than happy to be here.
You've got some really awesome clips that we're going to be showing today of videos that you've created. How long have you been busy doing filmography? Because I like your style. You're really solid.
Yeah, it all started back probably about 7 years ago now. Back in 2015, there was a group of 3 of us, my brother, myself, and then a friend of ours. And the friend of ours is the one who kind of got us into the whole filmmaking thing. He was kind of like the one that who was like, oh, I want to make some videos. And then when he brought it up to us, we were like, that's stupid. Why would you ever want to make a video? And sure enough, he was able to convince us. And then my brother and I were both like, yeah, let's make a video. And then so we made a couple of videos, and then all of a sudden we're like, let's become YouTubers. Let's make a YouTube channel. And then that's kind of how it all started. So we've been doing that ever since. We kind of uploaded like sparsely onto YouTube for probably 2015, 2016, 2017. And then graduated from high school and said, you know what, if we're going to do this, this is the time. We should actually take it seriously and see if anything comes from it. So we decided to take the year off from school after we graduated and said, let's upload one video a week for an entire year and just be consistent with it
Yes.
and see what happens. And that was probably the best thing that we ever did, because at the end of that, we had a solid audience, we had a solid YouTube channel going, and that was kind of what kind of launched us into filmmaking as a whole, because we practiced it every week. We did it basically, that was our lives, and we started doing freelance, and we started doing everything that you could do with a video camera we were trying to do. So we've been doing that, and then we've been kind of just doing that ever since, and it hasn't stopped. So
Right on. I mean, when you're talking about YouTube and YouTube video growth, I mean, there is a definite difference when you bring your YouTube videos that you've been doing with just bringing it up a notch in production level. What were some of the things that got you interested in using filters in your production? What changed?
I would say when we're doing, like, YouTube is great, and people make videos about whatever they want with all types of gear, but then we kind of got into the filmmaking side of it. We wanted to elevate the quality. We really dove deep into what cameras are the best, what lens is the best,
Yeah.
what do you use to get the best looking video. And with that, you can't get professional looking video without filters, and you need a whole load of different filters, and they all serve different features. So like there's ND filters, which cut down light to make it so you can get the proper settings to your camera, and then there's mist filters, which we're going to touch on, and then there's also there's a whole bunch of things, IR filters, UV filters. So there's all different things, they all serve different purposes, but it's just a strive for quality is kind of what got us into looking at filters and really wanting to advance our filmmaking.
Yeah, awesome. And then with these NiSi filters that I'm seeing you use in the videos that we're sharing today, I mean, there is a marked difference and improvement. And even as talented as you are with editing and the idea of how to produce the whole scene, the filter, man, it really is stellar. Is there one filter that stands out from NiSi that you use the most?
I would say the one that we use the absolute most, we use it probably every single time that we use our camera outdoors, it's the variable ND. So it's this guy right here.
Oh yeah.
And this is essentially just an ND filter that is variable. So you can, as you twist it, it gets darker, which allows you to cut down the light coming into the sensor and really kind of like basically get to use the settings on your camera that you normally want to. Because sometimes it's too bright outside, so you got to throw, they call these sunglasses for your camera. So you throw the sunglasses on, and now you can see properly, essentially. And we probably use this filter every single time that we're outside filming, and we do, I would say, probably about 80% of our filming outside. So we use it about 80% of the time.
Well, right on. I mean, as a photographer myself, I do Milky Way photography, and so I don't handle with a lot of video over, throughout the day. But one of the problems I have is when I want to try and do something that's cinematic, I want a soft focus behind my subject. I want to get a little bokeh going on. And so when I'm thinking about that sentence you just said, get the settings that I want, but it's too bright outside, I'm like, well, that's kind of counterproductive to what I'm picturing. So I'm thinking, okay, I want to shoot at f2.8 to get that depth of field, but it's so bright outside I can't deal with the smaller shutter length. I can't deal with, well, I guess, okay, if I'm at f2.8, now I'm blowing everything out so bright, my aperture's wide open, my depth of field is soft. Is that when you bring in that ND filter to stop down some light?
Absolutely. Yeah. We use all of our lenses, we use like f2.8. We even have a lens that's f1.4,
Oh, yeah? Yes.
which allows you to get that really, really silky bokeh in the background. But using like that 1.4 filter, or lens, I should say, is our favorite lens. We use it as much as we can. It's a 50 millimeter, and we like, if without an ND filter, you can't use 1.4 f1.4 outside because it's just too bright. It becomes overexposed, and no matter what you do in camera, it doesn't cut down enough light to be able to use it properly. So that's where the ND comes in extremely handy, because you need something to be able to cut down the light, and it basically essentially makes your lens usable outdoors. It's kind of like without the filter, you wouldn't be able to use it and get the features and the look that you would want out of your lens.
Yeah, that makes so much more sense. I was thinking in my head backwards a little bit, but now it makes perfect sense. You want that soft background that I was looking for. And of course, it brings in all the light, and your trees are completely, every light in between the trees would just be a white blast, and you wouldn't see anything, or you get weird skin tones. So that's awesome. Okay, cool. We've got a really neat system that we're going to talk about today to make your videos look better. And everyone in the chat, I need to know if our audio is working just fine. Let me know if you're hearing myself just fine or Mitchell just fine. Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the comments so I know that you're there, it's working. And before we come back to him after this video clip, that you can hear him without any trouble whatsoever. So go ahead and hit me up with those comments right away. We're going to go into a lot of discussion today. We're going to show you some gear. We're going to show you some videos of examples of how this gear makes things look just beautiful. And then we're going to go into some giveaways today. And those giveaways require you to chat in the comments. And so make sure that you are able to write those comments through. If you're on your phone or if you're on a laptop somewhere that may or may not be connecting or you can't find the chat window, make sure you find that, locate it, and give me a yes or no on audio being good for both me and Mitchell. If one of us is off, let me know. And if you're new to live streaming with me, my favorite way of knowing an important question that comes up, I want to see all caps questions. If you have an important question for Mitchell and you don't want to have him miss it, put it in all caps. Say, hey, Mitchell, that ND filter, blah, 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 blah. Or I want to go ahead and use that black mist and I don't know when I should use it question. You got to make sure that's in all caps. If it's not in all caps, I may miss it in the chat. So hook me up with an all caps question when you have something important you'd like us to interject into the live stream. Otherwise, let's get rolling and talk about the NiSi Swift System right here. Right on. Okay, so here we are talking about this Swift system, and I'm going to take you through some of the really nerdy pages of specifics about this gear really fast. But then we're going to jump back to Mitchell, and he's going to show you it in person with his camera gear. So the Swift system, we just got to think about it as all these lenses, filters, and an adapter ring. So you have the ND Vario, which is the 1 through 5 stops. So that's variable to switch between 1 through 5 stops, and you can choose whether or not you're going to cut it all the way back to 5 or keep it at 1. Then you have the 4-stop filter, which is not variable. You just go ahead and throw that on there, and now your 1 stop on the variable becomes 5. Your 2 stops become 6, 3 to 7, and all the way up to 9. So you can get up to 9-stop filter. When I'm at Thor's Well and I'm doing a photography out there, and I'm throwing up a shot on the awesome chasm that is Thor's Well, and then you got the wave flying up in the sky, and then the water recedes back into the chasm. I want 10 stops because I'm usually there where it's nice and lit. If I'm going to be there during a sunrise or sunset, I might bring it back. And I don't have a variable filter on my gear. I have this big fat glass that I got to swap in, swap out. With this system, if I'm doing a video out there, I can just swiftly just bring that back from 9 stops down to 4 again, or 5, I guess, at the minimum. Or I could take off that 4-stop filter right here. The black mist filter, the 1/4, the UV IR cut, and adapter ring. So we're looking at the Swift system having 15 functions. It's critical to remember that, 15 functions. The first one is just that variable filter. The second one is that plus the f-stop, the 4-stop that I was talking about. The third function is bringing the ND variable plus the black mist. The fourth one is bringing the IR cut for the UV. Or you can even bring in both the ND filter plus the 4-stop and the black mist. And then you have the same thing where you can swap it out with the IR cut, or just do variable plus black mist plus UV IR cut. And then you got all 4, and you can see so forth. The adapter ring is sweet because sometimes you don't want to use the initial 1 through 4 variable. And so you can now put the adapter ring straight on your camera lens and then use the 4-stop on top of that, as well as continuing adding in more of the band, all the band together to make your shot look sweet. And so as you're looking on these pages, you can see all the different functionalities of working these together in different orders, different sequences to get the best for your shot. And so there's 15 different functions for what you saw was just essentially four filters and 1 adapter ring. 4 filters, 1 adapter ring, the Swift system. So let's go ahead and bring back Mitchell, and I'll do that by killing my PDF right here and showing Mitch, hey man, so looking at this gear and talking about it, can you explain a little bit more, as this was a tech overview, but what's the reality overview of this gear?
The reality of this is that it's essentially like an all-in-one system that takes everything that all the filters that you would need and puts them into one package. And it makes it just a nice, quick and easy package that allows you to basically do whatever you need, whether it's an ND, whether it's a mist. And it's essentially, it's basically just the whole thing in one go. So would you like me to show it now? I can do that.
Actually, we really want to see your video too, but I do have a question from 34. He says, I assume this is a magnetic system. When we're talking about showing the gear and looking at it, how does this connect? Is it magnetic?
It is not magnetic. It's friction fit. So this is, it's essentially like the foundation is the VND filter. Or like Aaron said, if you don't want to use a VND filter, you can use the adapter ring, which essentially just mimics the kind of the ring size of the VND, and it allows you to mount these on top with friction. So you basically just push them together, and then pushing them together, that's basically it. That's the stack, and then you can add another one on top, and it's all friction fit, not magnetic.
Okay, right on. So we're going to go into some of the specifics with the gear right there at your desk. But before we go into that, I really want to show off a video that you produced that is going to show kind of the use cases for this system. So let's go through that real quick. I'm going to share it with them, and I'll come right back to you.
As a visual storyteller, versatility is paramount. You want gear that works for every environment you're shooting in. Introducing the NiSi Swift System. Expanding capabilities with groundbreaking innovation. Designed to work seamlessly with the already popular NiSi VND filter, this multi-filter system expands what's possible and gives creators unprecedented potential. First, there's the VND filter. You've seen these before. Used to restrict the amount of light hitting the sensor to help maintain cinematic motion blur or a bit of style. Then there's the 5 to 9 stop VND filter add-on, used to increase the VND filter effects for those even brighter shooting environments. Finally, there's the 1/4 black mist filter, used to bloom highlights and soften textures to give you a dreamlike effect. This filter can be used with both the NiSi VND filter or the included adapter ring, allowing you to shoot in low light environments. Each filter can be mixed and matched to fit perfectly into your desired visual style. Purpose-built for creators with speed in mind, these filters can be instantly attached so you can shoot confidently and never miss the shot.
Right on. So this gear, I mean, just looking at the video that Mitchell produced there, it just gets me excited about the potential for what you can do with this gear. And so to show us exactly how to do it, Mitchell, go ahead and get set up where you can show us the gear, and we're going to come right to you and look at each one of these pieces of gear and how you put them together, how you put them on, and show you just how simple this system is and how beautiful it can work with the gear that you currently already have. All right, Mitchell, I'm going to send it over to you. All right, man. So tell us about this.
You can, yes.
It's Mitchell's chest.
I've set it up here so you can, that's right. This is me, my chest, my burgundy shirt here. And so I've set it up here so I have all the filters laid out, and I'm just going to show you guys how it all goes together. So like I said, the foundation is this guy. This is the VND, NiSi True Color VND. That goes on the filters, the filter threads of your lens. So once you load that guy on, then you got that. So that's VND. You can shoot away, do whatever you need. And if that's all you need, then great. But if you want to add something else to it, so if you want to add the black mist filter, this is the black mist filter. Like I said, it just friction mounts right onto the lens like that. And now you're good to go. You got a black mist filter and a VND. You can still use the VNDs. You can turn the whole thing, and it basically allows you to stop down the light if needed. So you can turn that. And then for the third, and actually not final piece, but for the third piece, you can get the extra. This is the what do you call this? The 4 stops, which essentially just basically increases the ability of the ND filter. So if you're in extremely bright scenarios, if you're in like essentially where the sun is directly above and you're not under any shade or anything, that's when you'd use this. So you can put this on as well. So now you've got 2 ND filters, which total up to 9 stops if you need it, plus a black mist filter. And then there is a 4th filter, which I don't have today, which is an IR cut filter, which you can then stack on top of that. So it's a 4 filter stack system essentially. And it's all together kind of, it allows you to basically, like at full max, basically all the filters add together, you have essentially like it would be for shooting in super bright environments as well as wanting that black mist effect. So
right on. So you're
there's
talking
that. And
about
then
this real quick on that whole tension of it just being a friction adaptant. I mean, when you're out there working with it, do you ever find an issue of that friction keeping on? Does it ever feel like it's going to come off in any way?
no, we've actually never experienced anything about falling off. It's pretty, they've kind of nailed it in terms of how much friction you want without it being too much friction. So it's the perfect amount to keep the filter and the filter stack on so you can take it on and off really easily and it doesn't take any time to throw on and off, but it's not so much as it'll fall off while you're using your camera, or sorry, not so little as it'll fall off while using your camera. So it's kind of like they tend to basically nail it in a sense where you can put it on easily and it's,
well, with that being hooked up to your lens that you have on right now, you have the Sony gear, it looks like. With that, is it a G Master lens?
this is a Sigma lens, but it has the same filter threads and same characteristics as the G Master equivalent of this lens.
That's the question. So the filter threads, are they really difficult or pretty universal to get matching with the filter threads of your own lens?
Filter threads for all lenses are universal. They all are just like a twist on kind of thing. But it does depend on the size of your filter. So this is an 82 millimeter filter thread. So it's 82 millimeters across. So you do need the filter that does match that size. So I know that there's 77, there's all the way down to 55. So you do need to get the filter that matches the size of the opening of your lens.
Okay, right on. So when I'm looking at this gear and thinking about the challenges that I might have with it, it's just making sure I have the right filter thread. The connection that you did with the tension, is that what's connected directly to my lens's filter thread that's allowing for the friction to work perfectly?
It's
the first thing connected to your lens. What is that?
The first thing, this is the VND, and it has threads on it. So you twist this. This one is the only one that you don't push on because you can't push it on. But this is the only one that you actually twist on. And then once it's locked in by twisting it on, then everything else on top of that is just pushed on and friction fit on.
Oh, right. And that's what the adapter is for, because that adapter winds up going on there instead of the VND if you don't want the variable ND filter.
Yeah. So if you're in a situation where you don't want to use any NDs, like this would be more for like in studio, or it's darker, like say evening, blue hour outside, you wouldn't want an ND filter. So that means that this guy's out of the question, as well as this ND is also out of the question. So let's say you just want to use, say, the IR cut filter or the black mist or both. Then they've made this, they call it the adapter ring, which this is now the thing that twists on with the threads. And then once it twists on, you now have the ability to just friction fit these on. And this allows you to just kind of push it on. You can kind of stack as many as you want on there. So.
Okay, right on. Sweet. Okay, so that is a lot more simple than I even thought it would be, and it doesn't look like it took much effort for you to work with. I'm going to go ahead and come back to me. Actually, no, let's keep you on as best we can. Yeah, I'll come back to me so you can have a chance to bring it off your chest and see your face, because I got some questions for you about your impression of the system. How is the system working for you in your workflow? Has it been something naturally fitting with your workflow?
It has. It's especially because we are run and gun filmmakers. A lot of what we do is not in a studio. It's not set up. It's not premeditated. It's a lot of like, get the shot now, otherwise you're going to miss it. So because of that, we need things that can be quick. So like I said, whenever we're filming outside, we almost always have the ND filter on there already, which is perfect because then if we ever need anything else, like the black mist, boom, you just throw it on and instantly it's ready to go. I didn't have to do any fumbling, any twisting, or anything like that. And it allows you to basically just also mix and match what you need for each scenario. So
okay, so we've covered some use cases so far. Basically, the variable ND filter is obviously what you do to allow you to use that f1.4 lens. That's just wide open light bucket. That thing is awesome. But then you can't have a depth of field at that level without being so bright. So obviously, the ND filter cuts out light. What's the black mist filter used for? What is that helping you?
The black mist filter, this is used for, it's basically essentially brings down the contrast of your image and kind of softens the shadows as well as the highlights and does we like to call it bloomed highlights. So if you take a look at like an example, which I'm sure you guys will see eventually here, you'll notice that there'll be like halos around light sources and it'll kind of look like there's like a kind of a foggy little like ring around it.
Yeah.
And that gives you a much more cinematic look. Like a lot of times when you see really cinematic, even like movies, you'll see that they use these filters to really kind of like, it just makes it feel more dreamlike. And it also like, the filter also like smooths out skin and textures and stuff and makes it look a bit more what we like to call filmic in a way. So it's that's essentially the purpose, is to smooth out textures as well as bring the contrast down and make it a bit more kind of like even.
You know what? I was thinking that basically what you described is obvious to me, but it might not be obvious to everyone. So I'm looking over at your video. I'm going to cover your face for a sec with your own video, and I'm going to go ahead and make it everybody so that he can hang out and see what I'm showing you. Because I'm looking at just the video itself and where you use the gear. Can you see my screen right now, Mitch?
I can, yep.
Awesome. So I can scrub through this creation that you made. Where would be the first place to start to really show off some of your uses for this gear?
Yeah. So, I mean, for instance, with the first, let me just pull up this.
Because we're coming in and we're
so
just seeing, yeah, go ahead.
At like the 18-second mark there, you'll see the shot of kind of where the camera zooms in to me holding the camera. Pretty much all these shots that you see outdoors were done with the NiSi VND filter.
So right now I'm looking at a
was
picture of you. For some reason, my scrubbing timeline only shows 0-1. So I can't even go to 18 exactly. But am I on the right frame right now with showing you?
Yeah, that's the right one. That
Perfect.
one was taken with a VND on the camera that's filming it, and it's filming me using the VND. So that's kind of when you're going to use that. See how it's very bright outside. You got the sun and everything. Yeah. So it wouldn't have been, and you also got blurry background. So it wouldn't have been possible to get a shot like that without the use of an ND filter.
I definitely got to use this in my stuff. This is awesome. Okay, so where else should I go next? Like, is there one that shows off the black mist really well?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it here.
Cool, yeah, hook me up, and then just have to describe it since my scrub on this. It's just a Windows machine, and it's frustrating how this Windows machine, the auto player, is just so weak. It's so weak. So everybody, as you're hanging out with us right now, I want to let you know that we are going to be sharing some of the gear in a future live stream where we can actually give away some of this gear, and it will be something that we do very soon. So we want to get you ready and prepped and primed right now as you joined us today to learn about the gear. We're going to come back and feature this gear in an extra live stream where we're going to do a bunch of giveaways. So tell your friends and share this video with your friends so they know, all right, we're going to be doing this with NiSi. Let's get together, watch this video, and see if one of us can win these giveaways. We won't be doing it today, so come back later and get this bookmarked on your Facebook page, this YouTube channel, get it subscribed to. Make sure that you get signed up so you can come back for our giveaway live stream. We'll be doing that very, very soon. This month, September, very, very, very soon. Okay, did you find a spot for me, Mitch, that I can throw up here?
I did. If you go just like a little bit over the halfway mark.
Okay.
Keep going.
I see a forest with three stops. Keep going.
You'll see a split screen with me holding a camera. You keep going, and we're almost there. There, right there. So
Perfect.
This shows you the before and after of a black mist filter. And if you look on the left, it's pretty sharp. But if you look on the right, see how it's a little bit more hazy, and it kind of like it softens it out. It makes it look a bit more cinematic, for lack of a better term. And that's kind of like a before and after.
Let's see, is this a solid clip right here that I can play? Let me play it and see what's going. So as we're going through that, oh yeah, you're rotating. You can see the lens flare come in. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go back to where it's featuring you, because this is very one-to-one image back and forth, and you can see how you've been rolling around in the fauna there, as you just got a bunch of, I guess it's the flora there, as you got a bunch of seeds and brambles on you, and you're sitting there with an awesome old camera. What is that camera?
That is a Super 8 camera. I don't know the brand. It doesn't even work. We just use it purely as a prop for the shots.
That's awesome, though. I mean, that Super 8 camera gets me excited. I did not grow up in the days of Super 8 and film, and so I never had one, but just to be retro and go back and use them would be a lot of fun. So using that filter, I can see the color change already in the background. It was just kind of drops it away from being the sharper color that draws my eye and makes the sharper color of your red North Face and your skin tone really pop. And then just kind of dreaminess around your hat that, your hair.
Yeah, there's also another section, if you keep going,
Yeah.
probably like halfway between what you have left on the timeline there.
Yeah,
just
you
keep
bet.
going. You'll see me standing on a fire hydrant.
Awesome. Okay.
And
Yeah,
then,
I remember that
even
clip.
that shot right there.
Oh yeah,
Also,
go back to the shot of
the one with the Paramount sign there. So if you see that there's like halos around the lights, that basically is essentially the effect of the black mist filter. It kind of makes it like, it kind of puts like diffusion on it.
Kind of like a Tiffin fog filter can be sometimes, where it adds on a star a little bit bloated light halo. I like this. I like this a lot.
That's right.
So then I'm looking for this shot where you're on top of the hydrant. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there we go. So same thing, blooms the highlights.
And so without the black mist filter, how would you go about to bring out this effect? Was it a ton of work in post instead?
To do it without the black mist filter is there are some workarounds in post that you could use.
But it's a hassle, however, I can imagine, I bet.
Oh, it is. And you got to do it for every shot. Like this is, if you just throw this on before you start, it's way easier. You don't have to do any post-processing. It can be quite intensive on your computer to run a program that could do something like this. So we recommend using the actual filter because it works better and it's easier in the post-production.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. I mean, anything that you can do to save yourself from trying to fake it afterwards and get artifacts of compression as you try and bring in a lot of effects, it's just so much smarter here. And it looks so solid. I'm going to watch this clip again as it comes by you, because it's just, everyone check out how smooth it really is. And just, it takes a scene right there. I mean, you're standing on a fire hydrant in the middle of the city, and it looks amazing. It looks so cool. All right, so the black mist filter, the variable ND filter. What about the UV IR? I know you don't have one with you, but is there anywhere in this video that you kind of cut back the UV using it?
Not in this video here because we didn't have it for the filming.
Oh, I see.
But an IR filter is a bit more of a special case scenario.
Let me come back to you so you can explain this case. I'm going to kill my share of this. All right, there you are. So explain some of the use cases, even though you don't have an example here today.
Yeah, so some it gets real technical real fast, but with light, there's the visible spectrum of light, which is all the way from red all the way down to, it's like the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all the way down.
Yeah.
And I think it's, if once you get past the blue spectrum, you get into IR. Actually, that's a lie. It's on the red spectrum where you get into IR, the infrared. And because cameras are not humans, they have sensors that capture the light. Sometimes they capture infrared, which is like light that we can't see ourselves. However, the camera can pick it up, and that causes some interference. It can cause a shift in the colors. So to cut down on that, they've created an IR filter, which essentially you put in front of your lens, and it will basically filter out all the infrared light, which is light we can't see, and only have light that we can see, which is on the visible spectrum. And you're going to use this filter not in like necessarily a per scenario instance, like I'm outside, I'm going to use it here, but not inside. You'll use it more on a per camera basis. So I know that if you're filming on the Blackmagic systems, whether it's the 4K or the 6K, I know that they sometimes struggle with infrared, with lights, or infrared light pollution, I should say. And because of that, having one of these filters makes it really nice because it brings the colors back to the visible spectrum only and makes it so you get less interference. I don't know if some cameras have infrared filters built in,
yeah, they do,
but not all of them do. I think Sony might. I know that Blackmagic doesn't, and I know there's definitely a couple more out there that don't have them built in. So it helps the ones that don't have them built in bring the light back to the visible spectrum.
Gotcha. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. So as I'm thinking about everything that you're talking about, I'm going to come back over here, everybody, and show you just quickly the price of everything. We've been talking about the Swift VND kit. So if you're considering getting the kit with just the ND filter, the 4 stops, as you can see, plus that, and a lens cap and a caddy, that is going to sit there with a, what was it, about 80 something millimeter. I know I was talking to Ray and he mentioned the exact size, 82 millimeter. Okay, so the 82 millimeter, the price is $289. And when you're looking at the rest of these, you can add on the extra black mist and the adapter ring so that you can use it without the variable ND filter already on. Actually, you know what? This second one right here doesn't even include the variable. It is just the 4 stops, black mist, adapter ring. But if you want to get everything all together, that comes to you right here on the Swift VND mist kit at $394 for the 82 millimeter. And that one includes everything in the the entire band of the variable filter, the 4 stops, the black mist, the adapter ring, a lens cap and caddy, everything to keep things looking golden for you. So Mitch, as I come back to you, what is it about this gear that you keep the most? Variable ND filter is your number one. How often do you use the black mist?
We use the black mist filter typically when we're shooting freelance projects, so things that we want to increase the quality on. We typically always run at least a 1/8 black mist filter on all of our freelance projects, just because it gives that kind of that elevated look and that elevated quality for the client. We typically don't use them for our just everyday YouTube videos that we typically film, just because those are more vlog-like, they're more run and gun kind of that way. But it's we do use it for essentially all of our cinematic videos. If we want them to start looking more filmic and something you'd see on the big screen, that's when we start using it.
Okay, right on. Okay, I got to see some more use cases of both of these. So first off, everybody, I am going to share with you a video of let me get rid of this price screen and then come back to this. Price screen out of our way and get rid of this errand. And boom, now you see me without the pricing system right here. But we're going to show you a quick video about the True VND and then also Black Mist, because we want to feature those and talk about them with Mitch. So let's just go ahead and quickly get into the variable ND filter.
When creating art, having the right tools for the job is essential. Being able to create without limits is vital to any artist. Now let me introduce you to the NiSi Variable Neutral Density Filter, VND for short. As a creator, a neutral density filter is key to stopping down light in bright environments, allowing you to maintain that cinematic motion blur. With its full metal design, effortless stop value changes, and true color technology, this filter was engineered to create without limits no matter what environment you're shooting in. True color technology was designed to preserve the correct tones of the image and not cause a color cast on the sensor. Now, don't worry if the filter gets a little wet. The NiSi VND filter features a multi-layer waterproof coating, wicking away water and keeping the glass clear. No matter what lens you're using with your camera, the NiSi VND filter will remain vignette-free all the way down to 16 millimeters. Crafted with excellence in mind, no matter where you're headed or what you're shooting, the NiSi VND filter will withstand anything you throw at it.
That's right. Yeah, it's we had another camera filming me also using the same filter. Other use cases, it's if you're not strictly a filmmaker, you can use it for photography, as you probably know, Aaron. But you can get long exposure. You get long exposure photos that essentially that allows you to get, like, say, if you're taking a picture of a waterfall, you can get that nice soft waterfall, or you can get especially like longer exposures over 1/100th of a second. You can get longer than that and get do those kind of things. So it's useful for photography, and then also with videography, it allows you to get the features that you want and the aperture and the shutter speed that you'd want as well.
Right on. Okay, cool. So when I'm looking at these clips, as you're showing the examples, for anyone who's just uninitiated, you get to see in this clip instantly the benefit. I mean, this is his lens with already, I guess, nothing at first. Let's see, clip. Oh yeah, one stop right there. So one stop ND filter, you can see how crazy bright it is. This isn't even the without a filter view of this forest scene. And as it goes down from 2 stops to 5 stops, you can see really it starts getting buttery at 4. I mean, it really is visible at 4 stops, where at 5 stops, you got it looking back to normal. You have a lens that's wide open, and now you can see the scene. And thanks to this variable ND filter, you're able to work with that the best way. Have you ever gone between 2 stops and 5 stops a lot, or do you tend to just use all the way at 5 stops?
It all depends on the scenario you're in. So if you're in an area where maybe it's not as bright as say this forest was, but it's just a little bit brighter and you want to cut back a bit, then that's when you'll kind of be going to like the 1 stop area. It's not like 5 stops is where you want it for all scenarios. The reason they have variable is because it allows you to kind of fine tune it and really, like, if you can dial it right in where you just turn it an extra little bit and then you've got the perfect looking shot. And that's the advantage of using a variable ND filter versus other ND filters, which are more like hard stops, or they're more like say different filters for 1 stop, 2 stop, 3 stop, 4, because then you'd have to take it off, throw another one on, see if that works, take it off, throw another one, and it doesn't allow you to do it nearly as quick. That's where the variable ND is really easy, because you can just twist it and it gets darker.
Right on, exactly. That, I mean, when you're dealing with photography, sometimes you have time. Most of the time you're doing a sunset, sunrise, or a like fleeting splashing moment on like a Thor's well that you don't want to take time to get back in your gear bag and grab stuff. So the variable is fantastic, but in videography and film, it's very fleeting. Your moment is right then. Maybe you can recreate the scene if it wasn't a candid scene and it was all staged, but if it is candid, you lost it. And so having that variable be like, oh no, I'm a little off, boom, boom, switch it, and you're set. That's golden. Looking at this image example right now, we got the true color showing up through another variable ND filter. Have you loved the true color of this lens, this filter?
Yeah, we have. It allows you to basically, as you see the scene, that's how it's going to be captured in your camera. As you can see on this example here, the right side is a bit warmer, and when we were out there, it was the cooler color, the true color on the left there. It was more blue. This is up in the Dolomites in Italy.
It is the Dolomites?
Wow. It is. Yeah, it was. We were out there last September. It was, and that was. And yeah, it was a nice, cool autumn day. So we were able to basically capture it with the true colors and other ND filters, which we actually had. It's funny, we had some of them from Amazon that you can get. That's the one that we used for this one on the right. I can't remember exactly the brand, but it's they have a color cast, and it allows, basically you throw it on and the colors don't look quite right, and they don't look the same as what they look like in real life. And NiSi has done a really, really good job of creating a true color ND filter that basically captures it the way that it's supposed to be.
Sweet. And am I correct in saying that the true color variable ND filter is the same quality in the Swift system? The Swift system comes with the true color one, correct?
That's right. It's the exact same filter in that system. You just add on with the Swift. So. All
right, on. Okay, cool. Let's look some more of this clip. Let's see if there's anything in here that stands out. Otherwise, we'll go to the black mist video. Oh yeah, the waterproofing. I know that you probably work in the rain a lot. Have you ever been concerned whatsoever about it?
No, it's like they say, they have that coating on there which allows the water just to kind of bounce off. And it's like I've seen other filters, you get one drop on there and it sticks. Like I know a GoPro does this. You get one drop on the front and it sticks right on there. Now you got to dry it, you got to do whatever. This one kind of has like essentially built-in windshield wipers. It just comes right off. And you like, honestly, sometimes all we have to do is give it a little bit of a shake if there's some really big drop stuck on there, but it's they bounce right off and it allows you to have a nice clear filter the whole entire time.
Right on, yeah. I mean, I know when I'm at Thor's well, the constant wiping, getting ready for the next shot, it's almost like if I just don't wipe, it'll work better than my smearing the streaks across my lens.
Yes,
it makes it even
exactly.
worse. So yeah, this might have nothing else incredibly special, just the different vignetting options I see right here. It doesn't have any vignetting on the corners. Have you found that you've had to work or fix any vignetting when you're working with this?
No, with the VND, just the VND, it is vignette free all the way down to 16 millimeters. Now, once you do stack on more of those filters, you do kind of start losing some of your wider angles to the vignetting. There are, we can pull up the.
Yeah, I think I got something
Sorry.
maybe in the Swift info. Let me check this out on this PDF. Let's go through this together, everybody. Let's see. Bum. I know I saw a vignetting.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, I found it. So with one filter, you're vignette free down to 16 millimeters, which is what I already said. And we've had a ton of experience with that. Haven't had any vignetting down to 16 mils. Then when you have two filters on there, so let's say you have the VND plus the additional ND filter, the 4-stop, then you're vignette free down to 18 millimeters. And then if you have three filters on there, let's say we put the black mist, then you're vignette free down to 21 millimeters, which is still very wide. And then with the fourth filter on there, you're vignette free down to 23 millimeters, which is perfect because one of the lenses that we use the most is the 24-70. That's a classic kit lens for most videographers and photographers. And which means that when you're using the full stack with all four filters, no matter how wide you go, you're vignette free because this thing goes down to 24 mils, which is perfectly wide for what a lot of people want to do. And so with this NiSi Swift system, it's vignette free on that lens, no matter what you do, which is awesome.
That is something that you often forget. That's an easily overlooked element of this. And I've had people out on workshops with me who are like, oh crap, this is happening. I don't know what's going on. I got these corners that are showing a lot of vignetting. And usually we just find out that they've accidentally stacked an IR filter in there where they weren't expecting it. And was this plus IR filter worked, but IR filter first plus this ended up not working. And especially at that millimeter. So you always got to keep an eye out for that, everybody. Watch out for what happens in the vignetting corners. And it's nice that NiSi has thought this through already. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and share with you a black mist specific video about some of the benefits of that, and we'll come back and break down the video again with Mitchell.
As a master of your craft, you're always wanting to create without limits. Get into a flow state and make your ideas come to life. We are always on the hunt to capture the most striking images possible, and the NiSi Black Mist filter allows us to do just that. Black mist filters bloom highlights, soften skin, and give your shots an organic film-like effect. Coming in 3 strengths, 1/8, 1/4, and 1/2 gives you the option to choose the filter that will match perfectly with your shooting environment. These 3 strengths work together to give you versatility when it comes to your creative style, help you advance your filmmaking and photography skills, and are a perfect addition to your kit. As a creative, we want to catch the uncatchable, obtain the unobtainable, and these NiSi Black Mist filters get out of your way so you can create without limits.
All right. Okay, awesome. So we talked about the black mist filter multiple times. We're talking about how well and how strong it can work. Well, let's talk a little bit about this video that you created, Mitchell, and some of those benefits that you have found working with the black mist system. I'm going to bring you back up, and we're showing this video again and breaking it down. So as I'm playing it through here, where do you use the black mist clip the most? Keep an eye on it with me, and I can stop it.
Yeah, especially once we hit the downtown sections, you'll see.
Yeah, it's talking about it. Okay, we transition. This is a great transition for all you YouTubers out there. How he transitions from editing the video to her on the street. That's fantastic. I love how the head comes in and swipes it. It's glorious.
Yeah.
So I can see
we've already talked about that. If you keep going, there's a traffic. Yeah, that guy, traffic walk one. I would say this is a perfect example that shows what a black mist filter does for the more stylistic aspect. There's a nice little glowing halo around that one point of light. And like normally that doesn't happen. You don't see that kind of glowing halo around. And that's essentially what the effects of the black mist filter are. It just essentially just adds this kind of like this glowing haze. And if you go back a bit to where the model here was walking across the road, I think it's one of the first shots.
Okay, let's go for it.
There, yeah, right there. You can see in the background, it's like it kind of adds this like hazy, dreamlike effect, and kind of makes it seem like she's in like a movie essentially, and where she's very it's very dreamlike. It's very hazy. It's not super crisp and super harsh, and just softens it out.
Do you find that when you're trying to make the most or get the most out of the black mist filter, you need points sources of light in your shot in order to really show it off?
Yes, we prefer, like, we do use the black mist filter sometimes in like broad daylight with even lighting, and that's when you're going to want basically use the or you're using it more for the effects of like the softened textures and
Okay.
The decreased contrast. But one of our favorite places to use it is in like a nighttime setting with single points of lights where you can see the halos around the lights. Because we in our style, we really love that effect. We love that that look. Some filmmakers don't like it. That's totally up to them. It's a personal preference, but we prefer the halo look, and that's when. So our favorite place to use the black mist is nighttime settings, darker settings with those single points of light.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right on. Okay, so you've been putting together some really solid videos for NiSi. I really love your filmmaking and your technique. How did all this come together? How do you make these videos?
It's there's a whole bunch of steps. So it starts with like pre-production, which is where you just plan out what you want. So that this concept here for the Black Mist was we were essentially like, oh, we'll go downtown, we'll shoot, and we'll basically show the contrasts of with versus without the filter, and basically go to an environment that really will accentuate the use of the filter. So we planned out like, oh, we want like on the computer first, kind of like the guy editing, and then our idea was that it basically transitions to what he's editing, which is the stuff that you then see here. So that's pre-production, you're planning that. And then from there, you'll go into the production of it, which is we hired our friend Nicole here as the model for the downtown stuff. And we basically just said, hey, can you just walk around? We'll film you with our camera. So we filmed it probably over like a 2-hour period. And I remember it being, we filmed this in December. It was like, I'm pretty sure it was like December 28th-ish. It was right around Christmas time. I remember it being very cold outside. It was like minus 10 degrees Celsius, which I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. But it was very cold. We were out there like after 2 hours, we're like, let's pack it in. This is too much for us. And the filter still performed, which is great. And so we were out there, we filmed, and then you go to the post-production, and that's where they say the art happens, the magic happens, which is totally true. We took all the stuff that we filmed, put it all into a video, and we really slaved over the edit here because you're wanting it to be perfect. So you're trying different things, you're slotting different shots in, and you're loosely following the plan that you made before. But once you get into editing, some things change, some things are different than what they were, like basically what you had planned before. So it's there's a lot that goes into a video like this. It's probably like definitely multiple hours that come to making something like this.
I'm gonna pull up this other video that we showed earlier, the one that has that VA system. Well, I don't understand why this Windows wants to overlap you so much, so I have to do this back and forth, but now you're visible again. So as I show this the variable ND filter video that's focused on it, you do something in here that as a YouTuber I just adore. And if you're not catching it, it's right here. And I got to talk about it with you. So we watch, he tosses the filter up, and then matching it up with the position of where the filter kind of hits the apex of its flight. And it's like, boom. Now we're transitioning between multiple cameras. That is glorious. I've said glorious already, so I'm going to say that is amazing. This is such a good looking shot, and I'm so proud for you for how well this turned out. Can you take us through a little bit? I mean, as everybody is hanging out with me right now, we've been talking a lot about this gear, and you're thinking maybe right now, okay, what is that price? $289, $219, $394? I mean, that's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. And you're thinking, okay, I could buy myself a whole set of new lenses, or I can just make my current lenses look amazing for about 1/3 the cost, 1/4 the cost of my other lens at getting the Swift kit. And so I'm looking right here, and it's like, I absolutely need the Swift Variable ND Mist kit because I want the mist included, I want the adapter ring, and I want all of that. And you might be thinking, okay, that is a brilliant price. I know I can get it right away. But if you keep following us, I mean, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, or keep watching and follow this Facebook page, you'll be around for our next live stream where we're actually going to give these away. Yeah, I'm going to give these away. Watch this. Right here, on this one, we're going to give away this entire kit right there. We're going to give away this entire kit right here, and we're going to give away just the variable ND filter by itself. So you're talking about saving yourself some serious gold if you go ahead and come back and keep watching the live stream. The giveaway will be coming up soon. We'll have the announcement on there as to what date that giveaway will occur. And it'll just be participants of the live stream will get that giveaway. And we'll have 3 of them. You'll have 3 chances to get at least a variable ND filter and at most the entire kit. And so that's freaking fantastic. And so getting this kit up here is awesome. And so you need to get a hold of that. And if you're thinking about it, check out the NiSi website and get a hold of that stuff right now. But let's go in and let's end this stream talking about one of my little kind of YouTuber crushes on Mitchell now, saying what he did here was pretty awesome. And let's talk about what it took to do it. So we're looking at this clip.
Yeah.
I'm just going to play the last 10 seconds again so people can appreciate it one more time. Casual walk, throwing this thing up. Oh man, 10 seconds was too far back. Here's a Mavic, grabbing the lens filter, and boom. I love that so much. Okay, Mitch, tell us, what was it? What's the secret behind that curtain, wizard?
Okay, I'll break it down in order of how you saw it. So we basically started off. I'll start off with the guy walking, where he takes it out of his pocket. That was just a classic shot where we had a guy pull it out of his pocket. Now the second shot where you see me throw it up and then it zooms in and then it kind of you see it zoom into all the filters. That one was very tricky to do because we literally threw the filter up and we had to follow it up with the camera, and you got to get it perfect. So that took us probably without no word of a lie, probably 50 tries to do. So we were there, and I was just raising the camera, and then we were throwing it, raising the camera, and you had to get it perfectly. So you had the filter in frame pretty much the entire time. And then in post, we did a bit of a zoom. So that's how it zooms into the proper position. And then for all of the match cuts, we made this custom rig out of a 2x4. So we had 2 cameras, we had a 2x4. We built up both sides. Both cameras were pointing back at each other, and we had one camera essentially filming this camera, and it held it in the right position the entire time, because that's very important. You want the camera to be locked off so you can get all the shots in different locations, but with the camera in the exact same position. So we had built this 2x4 contraption, put the lens on it, and then we just took it to different locations. So we went downtown, we went to a forest, we went to a park, and because it's also so blown out in the background, you can kind of get away with doing 3 or 4 locations in one location. So you can kind of basically, we didn't have to go to each place that you see there is a different location. We were able to basically essentially turn the camera a bit and get another angle. So we were able to do that. And then in post, you basically just take all of them. They were all pretty much lined up, except in post, we just did a bit more tweaking in terms of getting it perfect. And then you just cut it to the music, and we got a good song here with that crescendos right as we we throw the filter up, and then you just cut during the beats, and it turned out way better than we thought. This is an idea that we had before filming this. We planned this on a piece of paper, and it turned out way better than we could have expected it to.
Yeah, that is amazing. I love it. Remember the prices. I'm going to take those off now so we don't have to focus on those right now, because it's just making you all sad that you don't have one right now. But you can buy it very quickly and very easily. But I'm going to come back into Mitch and stop sharing the screen so that we can see him full screen and say thanks to you for hanging out with us today. So, Mitchell, my mad props to you as a filmmaker. My mad props to you and your team for putting together this video and really showing off what the NiSi filters can add to any filmmaker's, toolkit. And so seeing how these NiSi filters are working so solid for you, it makes me jealous. And as long as we have an inkling of your talent, we can take the NiSi filters and make them even stronger. So your final word on using this system, the Swift system. Do you recommend it to others?
I do. I highly recommend it, especially the variable ND. It's one of our favorite filters to use. The black mist is great. And all in all, great system. If you're looking for a way to get all of it in one package, the Swift system is definitely for you. So
Absolutely agree. Fantastic. Thanks so much, Mitchell, for hanging out with me live today.
Thank
I
you.
know that you'll be busy working and you won't be able to join us for the giveaway, but Aaron King here will be hanging out with all of you for the giveaway of this filter system. Come back more for NiSi, and I'm just stoked to be a part of it. Thank you, Mitchell. Have a good rest of your day, and everyone watching, have a great one. We will see you next on our NiSi Stream Live. All right, take it easy, Mitchell.
Thank you.